Welcome everyone to the Kendall Report, where I share my 40 years of experience to help you manage your portfolios and protect your wealth. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share these videos. Monday's action traded with a positive tone for most of the session, consolidating the gains that it made early on. The economic reports that are coming in right now are coming in much better than expected, even though they're terrible overall. As I've talked about for the past several weeks, the economic numbers don't really mean much. It's the forward-looking attitudes of market participants that are continuing to keep this underlying bid in the market. Looking at yesterday's action from an internal standpoint, we're seeing some hesitation in some areas of the market, while others are starting to move forward fairly quickly. You may recall about a month ago, I talked about taking advantage of Warren Buffett's big mistake, which was selling the low in the airlines. You're starting to see them really come alive, and I know a lot of you have commented on the channel that you've taken positions, and these are going to continue to grow. Before I go through the technicals tonight, we'll take a look at a couple of the symbols that are doing quite well and talk in general what's likely to continue to happen in the airline industry. But as we go through the week, we have a lot of metrics to come out. They're still all going to be terrible, but if they continue to come in better than expected, this might be an impetus for this market to move above the resistance levels that we're seeing starting to form around the 30-60 level. My expectations are that we're going to consolidate for a couple of days, possibly have some minimum downside, but we're going to see this consolidation ultimately resolve itself to the upside as the underlying trends primarily on the intermediate and longer term trends are still very positive. Oftentimes when we get into these type of configurations, the longer term charts tell you a lot more than the short term charts will. Action gets a little choppy sometimes as we are consolidating before moving higher. But make no mistake, the trends are up right now. There's no way we're going to see any major declines. We could see a minor decline back towards the 200-day moving average. I'll talk about that in the technical section, but overall, things are still very positive. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of events that are continuing to happen that are positive as the economy continues to unfold in spite of the social unrest that is in the backdrop. Let's take a look at the charts and see what the configuration tells us what's likely to happen on Tuesday. Taking a quick look at the airlines, we're going to start with Love or Southwest Airlines. Now, this was originally a dog, and what changed this stock's outlook was crude oil moving back above the $30 level. With crude oil currently trading around $35, this puts Southwest back in the driver's seat as they had a lot of hedges on at 20, so anything under 20 caused a lot of stress in this stock. You notice our model had a buy signal at 25.55. It's currently trading 33.50. It was up 4.36% on Monday, and this trend is just starting to move. I discussed this briefly in the live cast last Wednesday, but my expectations are for these stocks to move back toward this 200-day moving average. Right now, this is 47.85. That tells you there's another 20 or 30% potential in this stock. Now we're seeing air travel start to pick up. We're seeing a lot of things starting to come together that just a few months ago, everything looked so catastrophic it was impossible to see anything going forward. The other airline that's been a big winner is Allegiant. This thing is really moving. You can see that back on the 8th of May, got a buy signal on this at 75.41, currently trading at 108.96. It was up 2.26. We're getting really close to this 200-day moving average, so if you happen to buy this one, look to exit somewhere above 120. That's probably going to be your best target. Before moving on, I want to bring up our Portfolio Expert software. This is also the same signal that's in our WaveTech research tool. But the last sell signal we had was way up here at 175 in its base after this long downtrend. So this thing has probably got a lot to go. There's probably an evolution of things that are likely to happen where it goes from this is a short-term daily signal where we migrate to a weekly signal that will ultimately give us a longer-term signal for this stock to recover. I do not believe there's going to be a bull market in this sector, but we are going to see a lot of recovery. And what will be interesting to see if there's any federal programs that come into play to help these folks out. The last stock we'll look at is SkyWest. Some of these regionals look better than the majors. UAL and Delta, they look okay, but they're not as strong as configuration. My whole theme is here that I think most of the industry, most of these stocks are going to move toward this 200-day moving average. It's going to act as a magnet. I don't know if we'll get above it or not, but there's a major trade still unfolding here. We'll continue to watch this. Those of you that come in on the live stream on Wednesday at 1:30 Eastern Time, maybe ask some questions. We'll go into more details. Okay, starting with the S&P 500 futures, the E-minis, we're looking at the market continuing to climb in this very narrow band. We still have positive PPMs, PPM1 0.40, 0.35, and 0.34. Anything above a 0.25 is an uptrend. This configuration suggests that we're likely to remain above the 3005 level. As I mentioned, on the cash market, we're looking at 3003 is the key number. On the futures, we're looking at 3005. There's a slight difference because of the configuration with the basically 24-hour trading versus just the live session that we look at on the SPX. What we're looking at here is the markets are starting to lose a little bit of momentum. There's a ceiling that's been printing around this 3060 level. When I was doing my research tonight, I was having a flashback to like a year and a half ago, the first time we went over 3,000. We're trading pretty similar to how we're trading right now. There's consolidation. We're continuing to hover over the 200-day moving average. On the futures, that average is 29.94. We could see a dip back over the next couple of days, just some minor profit taking, but we're really just working this very narrow range. And the likelihood today is that R1 will be the extreme for the day, and we could see an S2, possibly an S3, which would be 3026, 3012. Now we're trading overnight at 3037. The low so far is printed 3035. It looks like they're trying to put a low in on the futures, but that's a little early to tell. We're a long ways from Tuesday morning's opening. But what we're seeing here from the configuration on a short-term basis is just continue to work in this channel that I've been talking about. I don't see anything big going on there or anything really that is going to be earth-shocking other than we could come down and test some of these lower levels. Like I said, S2, S3 for today on the futures. Let's take a quick look at the cash markets. They're configured very similar, but we've got a very nice rising 10-period moving average. It's at 0.65. That will flatten off a little bit on a lower opening, but we're going to remain similar to what it is in the futures, a 0.40. We're in trend mode no matter what. Now the 10-period moving average is at 29.91, but we are advancing about 20 handles per day. So that's going to push us up toward the 3001 level, puts us in line with the 200-day moving average, which is 3002.97. So we're likely to pull back into this level. The critical thing for today will be the R1, which is 3057. On Tuesday's action, we're likely to see a move into the 3031, 3017, which is the S1, S2 level. Could go to extreme 3002.97, which is exactly what the 200-day moving average is. That is allowed within this configuration as the market continues to move up. I'm not sure what the stimulus will be for any type of move here. We've got a lot of economic data coming out, but we all know it's going to be pretty bad. Maybe it doesn't come in as bad as expected. Maybe that's a stimulus. The protests start to slow down and start to dissipate. That will be enough to free the markets to move higher. We'll have to wait and see, but right now the configuration suggests we're going to continue to move this channel higher, and the 3001 to 3004 level, that is going to be where your major support is. Resistance on the upside is going to be that 3057, which is R1. If we get above that, then we could move to 3071, 3085, but there's less than a 30% probability to get through 3057 today. This will complete the broadcast. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you tomorrow night.